The Dallas Cowboys are now sitting at 500 and fresh off one of the most disappointing losses in franchise history on Sunday against the Saints in Week 2. But now the slate's wiped clean, right? They've got another test ahead of them facing a desperate Baltimore Ravens team that is 0-2, looking to avoid an 0-3 start. Should be a good one in AT&T Stadium. And I'm getting you ready through it all here on Cowboys Rewind. It's going to be fun. Week 2, though, the loss to the Saints brought up old skeletons, and the run defense was exposed, having no answers for the Saints or Alvin Kamara. But Michael Parsons and this defense are looking for redemption.
Yeah, I think the mentality is to bounce back, stop this run, and show people that you can't stop the run. I think it's definitely a prove a game when you get a game like this back to back.
You're going to see a couple of pushed off teams Sunday?
I definitely think so. I think they're coming in with some heavy redemption on a couple games they shouldn't have lost, and tight ones. And we got to come back from that mind-boggling loss we had at home. So it's going to be a great battle.
Was it effort or scheme? Why did y'all struggle so badly?
I think it was effort and technique. I think some of the stuff that was on film, I don't know if y'all got all 22. Y'all tell me what y'all saw. You know what I'm saying? So it's not much for me to hit on at this point because we got Baltimore, but you could go watch the all 22 and you saw the same thing I saw. So
Mike talked about y'all, they beating y'all to the punch and also finishing better. I mean, is that a pride thing to a certain extent?
Yeah, man. At some point, all 11 got to have the same mindset, and that's just toughness, right? You talk about who you want to be and all this other stuff, but you got to go out there and be it. And it can't just be one guy. It can't be two guys. It's all 11 guys. It takes everyone because I affect the linebackers affect the DBs. So if we all aren't synchronized and, one group's getting effed up and another group's going to get effed up, it's a synchronized change. So at the end of the day, it's all about toughness and having mentality like, I'm going to dominate the man in front of me, and not all 11 had that last week.
When you think about the power of Henry and then obviously the crazy speed of Lamar, and they're both out there together, how much of a challenge is that, and how can you guys stop that?
Yeah, I think, like I just said, toughness. Step up. There ain't no other choice. Derrick Henry going to come downhill whether or not Sunday night, so it's not like a matter of, are you going to stop it? It's just you going to do it or not, I know I'm ready for the matchup. I know some other guys in the matchup, but, it's just all going to come down to Sunday if you're going to live up to that or not.
What's the biggest thing you saw on tape after that game in the running defense? When you saw the tape,
it was not good enough. We can sit here and talk about last week, but I'm so over that. We got a great opportunity. I'm ready to move on.
Some of those things correctable?
Yeah.
Going from a guy like Alvin Kamara, he's shifty, can do a lot of damage in space. Derrick Henry, the opposite, powerful, big. Jordan Lewis called him the juggernaut. You got to get him stopped before he gets going. Just talk about the challenge and just going up against a guy like Derrick.
Yeah, he's a veteran. He knows what he's seeing on the other side of the ball. He runs the ball hard, and he has those big jump cuts. And once he gets that speed going, like you said, he's hard to stop. So we know we have our get our weight behind our pads, and we got to bring it.
Eric, what was your first impressions of your teammate Jordan Lewis, and what has he meant to the secondary?
I love Jordan Lewis, man. He's a firecracker, man. He's a great spark for us. Always brings good energy, does things the right way. You never have to worry about him, and he makes plays.
We're going to see a couple of pissed off games Sunday.
Let's go. we always got to play a little bit pissed off, man. That's some defense. Come on now.
This defense has been locked in and pissed off, as Eric Kendricks likes to say, all week long. But more specifically, Micah Parsons has. And I don't know about you, but I love a pissed off Micah Parsons. He was held in check against the Saints, but will the Ravens do the same? That's up next here on Cowboys Rewind.
Cowboys Rewind is brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. And by SWBC Mortgage, customized solutions to help you meet your personal and business goals. Visit swbc.com. This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's It's no secret that the secret sauce for this defense to have success is to get pressure on the opposing quarterback. In fact, the last 6 seasons, the Cowboys have generated the highest pressure rate in the last 6 seasons of any defense in the NFL. But last week against the Saints, they just generated 6. It became one of the bigger topics of conversation this week as they prepared to face the Ravens offensive line, who's improved so much in their protection on Lamar Jackson from week 1 to week 2. So will the opportunities be there for Micah Parsons to feast? The girls on Girls Talk, Boys Talk break it down.
I was just going to say, we want to go back to the R word, rotation. That has seemed to be like the core of most of their offensive problems and not finding a rhythm. And it almost seems like Harbaugh is being stubborn, if you will, about putting the right guys where they just need to stay in position. For example, their right guard, Daniel Falele. Am I saying that right?
Falele.
I wanted to make sure because I literally wrote it down in a way. Anyways, he's not a natural guard. And guess what they have him playing? Guard. And as you know, it's not that easy to plug and play a player in a position they're not comfortable in playing. What I've noticed, he's very slow getting on the ball.
He's a huge person.
He is.
He is a huge person,
but he doesn't play on his feet.
Right.
Well, that's
he gets moved so easily.
He does, and guess what? He doesn't help. He doesn't help really the run game at all, like he's supposed to be helping. Something else I've noticed too is when Harbaugh was talking about this and being questioned by the media over there of, hey, are you gonna quit rotating? Like, what's the situation? He said he's seen progress in his young players. He expected growing pains, and pretty much they're inconsistent. What you dwindle that down to, they are having a lot of communication issues among their offensive line because of these young players being young. Expected. Also, though, me being the penalty queen that I am, I had to look at this because the Ravens have the 3rd most penalties in the NFL right now. 18 penalties for 73 yards on 308 plays. Week 1, they had 7 penalties. Week 2, they had 11, 6 of which pre-snap penalties, 3 false start, 3 offensive holding. Guess who's right in the middle of that? Your young players. So if Micah, Osa, Tank want to have a feeding fest, this is going to be the game that you get those jump penalties and those pre-snap penalties to take advantage
Honestly,
of.
that's what I predicted would happen. I could see them putting Micah over there just to mess with Falele because that guy...
They can attack that right side of that offensive line. They also have, we're starting to see the reassertion of the fullback into the football position.
Girl.
And so they use their fullback to help out, like you said, was like being an extra blocker. Also, too, Mark Andrews, their tight end. He still got some wiggle to him, but he's not even being able to be used as much because he's helping out those tackles and chip in and things like that as well.
The ladies talking about the chipping success that the Saints had with their running backs and tight ends against the Cowboys. So it'll be interesting to see how the Ravens use their 300-pound fullback for that extra chipping and extra protection on their offensive line. But this defensive line has a lot to prove, but so does this run game. That's up next here on Cowboys Rewind.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Right now, we were pleased. We could have had some better protection in general with our running backs. That's a strong suit, of course, for Zeke. But Dak got pretty hurried there on a few occasions. So right now, across the board, Rico did real well, I thought, in the game the other day, and so I don't necessarily see a change that would involve Cook this week.
Well, Cowboys Nation, y'all had questions. Well, there's your answer from Jerry Jones this week on if they'll be elevating Dalvin Cook against the Ravens. And it became a hot topic after the Cowboys' run game became and struggled after the Saints loss. And when you talk about the run game and the personnel, Ezekiel Elliott, Deuce Vaughn, and Rico Dowdle only made up 57 of the 68 rushing yards for the Dallas Cowboys. But is this still the group the Cowboys can expect to get it done in the run game? Is the running back by committee approach still the way to go? Well, Rico Dowdle shared his thoughts this week.
You mentioned getting the run game going. What are some of the things you guys are trying to play around with to try and figure out how to jumpstart it?
Simplifying and taking out really just going back to our bread and butters, what's worked for us in the past and what we've been really good at. So just sticking to that, and getting more of the same runs called consistent, and just going at the defense. We got to win.
What about you individually? How do you feel so far, and what do you think could help unlock your run game?
Definitely feel like this year has been we're a little behind. We're only 2 games in, but definitely been behind. Definitely left some plays out there, and it's more to be made out there. So just got to get it going and take it game by game.
Mike talked about the timing with the blockers. Can you expound more about get the timing and with the running game with the blockers?
Yeah, that was as far as us pressing our tracks, keeping it pressing, getting the linebackers to flow. Maybe if it's like another step or two, just something like that to help the blocks be set better for the linemen up front. I think we've been pressing it, cutting it back a little too early on some runs, but that's what it's all about.
Coach talked about September football not necessarily being about the result of the process. What is your mindset towards September football?
The same, like you said. We come out here as unscouted looks. Like we're only 2 games in, so it's the beginning of the season. And you know you're going to have mistakes and things like that in September. Just got to clean them up and continue to build on them and to get better as we go.
What's the challenge or adjustment to try and get used to the running back committee style and find your flow within that setup?
Like you said, you got to find your flow and just get a rhythm. I think that's been a challenge for us in the backfield, just getting a rhythm and getting those backs at the plate. We fell behind early last week, and then Cleveland. We haven't really played a full 4 quarters yet of football when we've been able to run the ball. So just getting the backs at the plate and more attempts and more looks. Sticking to it.
Is it hard to get a rhythm though when you're in and out though? I mean, because you kind of see how the defense is going, how it's playing you, but when you're in and out, it's hard to do that.
Yeah, for sure. As a running back, I think that's one of those things that come with attempts during the game. So, like you said, in and out, it's definitely a little harder to get a rhythm, but you still got to make the plays when they're out there. So,
you press though, because I'm not going to be out there, so I got to make the most of my opportunities.
I think sometimes they talk to us about that too, just taking it play by play, not pressing, because you're only going in, like you said, not being able to get that rhythm. So I think it was a little bit of that, pressing, just trying to make a play. Like you said, we got to take it one play at a time, and I think everything will come along well.
Like you talked about when getting into the flow, I mean, it's a different. There were kind of like more defined roles in the past. Do you just have to say it is going to be different this year? This is what it is, and this is how we're work somehow.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. That's what Coach McCarthy said. Talking about the committee approach. Yeah, he said that's what it is this year. Just trying to have a fresh back out there at all times, and yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's gonna be the committee, and we're gonna stick with it. Try and keep us. I think it's gonna help us at the end of the season more so, not wearing a guy out through the season and being fresher at the end of the season.
Establishing the run game is still a top priority for this Sunday against the Ravens, and they know that when you do that, you open up the passing game, and this team had a lot of success through the air in 2023. But now, how successful will they be on Sunday against the Ravens? We haven't seen them just yet get cooking. How confident are the boys in the offensive passing game feeling ahead of Sunday? That's up next here on Cowboys Rewind. Finding a rhythm has been the theme for this Cowboys offense through the first 2 weeks of the season. Just 3 offensive touchdowns so far through 2 against 2 playoff caliber teams, but it doesn't get any easier Sunday in AT&T Stadium, hosting the Ravens, whose record doesn't reflect them well. They have the league's top run defense and a talented secondary that just hasn't hit its stride just yet. And I spoke with Brandon Cooks about the challenge they're facing, and he says his confidence in this team hasn't changed.
I believe so much in our offense. It's just September football, right? We go out there week 1, we get a win. Week 2 wasn't what we wanted to be, but at the end of the day, if you really truly believe in your process and your foundation, all it is just get back to work, you know what I mean, and just detail some stuff out, and we're there. Now we just got to go out there on Sunday and display everything that we've been working on through spring, training camp, and throughout the week.
And you talk about the belief in this offense.
Yeah.
How much do you believe in this running game?
Yeah.
Because again, it is still, September football, like Mike McCarthy said, but how much confidence do you have in this run game being the group to get the success?
I got a lot of confidence in our backs, and the guys up front blocking for the run game, and the guys on the perimeter, being selfless and continue to block for the run game. It's just one of those things. We're going to get going. going, and when it does, you know what I mean, we're all gonna sit back and be like, I told you. So it's not necessarily trying to find it. We got it. We just got to go out there once again and just put that on film.
What does this week look like for you guys just trying to turn the page?
Yeah, exactly what you said, turning the page, right? You know, getting back to your fundamentals. That's what September football is about, right? How fast can you get to your foundation, your fundamentals? And that's typically the team that goes out there and win in September. And so getting back into the practice field today and throughout this week, just once again, truly believing in your process, going to work, and just really just doing your job, worrying about your job and everything else to take care of itself.
You got involved early in week 1, had your first touchdown of the season. Last year was a little different. You had your first touchdown in October. How good did it feel for you to get involved so early in the year?
I mean, it felt good, you know what I mean? And I'm just the type of guy that's just going to do my job the best that I can, and when my number's called, try to go out there and make the play, right? And like I said, continue to just trust, you know, in the play caller, trusting our quarterback, but at the end of the day, understanding that, you know, we like to distribute the ball here, and that's the beauty of it. Everybody touches the ball, and that's when you typically see, you know, us winning consistently, and that's what it's all about.
What are your goals for yourself individually this year?
Just help my team just go out there, you know, win regular season games, and when we get to postseason, taking care of that as well. Just being the best teammate I can be, continue to be that playmaker that I know I am, and also lead my team in a candid way.
He will be needed against the Ravens defense specifically, but the Ravens have allowed 13 of 13 play-action passes for 91 yards and a touchdown this season. Well, Dak Prescott was 6 for 6 against the Saints for 96 yards and a touchdown, so the opportunities will be there for this offense. It's just all about taking advantage and guys stepping up to the challenge.
Yeah, like I say all the time, man, I'm confident. My confidence is through the roof, and so that's just adding to it. You know, going out there and being able to make plays like that, get targeted, be able to come through and make some catches for the team. So, like I said, just kind of looking forward to the next opportunity that comes with it, whether it's more targets or, you know, maybe a bigger play, you know, this next week. So I'm just, like I said, I'm prepared for the moment. I've worked hard enough for it, and so just continuing to be ready when my number's called.
Just talking with Rico about kind of his mental process of hoping that big breakthrough comes soon. With you, are there things that kind of indicate to you like that's on the horizon?
I mean, to be honest with you, like I said, I wouldn't say it is. I just prepare for when it does come. Just working hard, going out each and every day and putting my best foot forward and being there. And like I said, I think that all the work that I put in this offseason with Dak and just over the past couple of years is showing. And so, like I said, just continuing to, my goal is to grow on that. And so whether it's this game or the next game, I'm prepared for when it does happen, and I'm looking forward to it.
He's talked about how there's always like that one guy in the offseason that spends the most time, that always answers the phone to go and catch passes. I know you've been that guy in the past. Are there things you see from Dak that indicate to you that his confidence is rising in you?
I mean, after routes, you know, we'll talk after even, you know, like I said, I left a play out there when Tyrann Mathieu hit me on the out. I should have attacked the ball. We talked about that directly after. He was like, that's a learning moment for you. If you see that the ball is a little lofty, go get it for me or whatever. And so, like I said, just being able to have the ability to communicate like that, and him trust me enough to tell me that, or, you know, ask me what he saw out there, like, hey, where was he playing you at, or, you know, he was top shoulder, did you win right here or whatever, okay, I'll look at you or finish this, or, you know, whatever it may be. So just the communication during games, and when we're on the sideline, you know, looking at iPads, you know, we communicate and talking, so I can tell that the trust is there and that, you know, he's trusts my word, and, you know, he understands that I have been playing and kind of learning the game. So what I see, he kind of values, and so, like I said, just continuing to grow that relationship with him.
And there's been quite a bit of miscommunication between Dak and his receivers from week 1 to week 2, but hopefully that's cleaned up against Baltimore this afternoon. It's almost kickoff time, and taking you back to the history between these teams, and it runs deep. That's up next year on Cowboys Rewind.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today. And to watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Cowboys Rewind was brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. And by SWBC Mortgage, customized solutions to help you meet your personal and business goals. Visit swbc.com.
All eyes will be on AT&T Stadium in Week 3 for the Cowboys and Ravens matchup in Sunday. And not just because it's been two teams that have been struggling, right? But just because two teams that have a lot to prove. And in the Ravens' case, they're 0-2. And looking at the numbers, there's 3 to 4% chance of making the playoffs when you get off to an 0-3 start. Well, the last team to do so was the 2018 Houston Texans, so quite a bit of time ago. For the Cowboys, they're the underdogs heading into this matchup and in serious need of bouncing back, but silencing the noise and doubts of this team that's potential. They've got to silence the noise about the run defense, got to silence the noise as well about the run game. Can they establish it? The Cowboys are 1-6 against the Ravens. Can they break the cycle and add another win to this matchup history? Kickoffs at 3:25 on Fox. The Cowboys and Ravens, the last meeting the Cowboys won was in Dallas. That was in 2016. Can they get it done again in AT&T Stadium? Again, kickoffs at 3:25 p.m. We'll see y'all there.